Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a
Happy New Year, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a retwist on my hair, on my head. First of all, I've been growing my hair for, I think, a little over 15 years now. And it's been 10 months since 16 years. Okay, 16 years. It's been 10 months. Oh, what is that? Okay, so it's been 10 months since I had an actual retwist. Okay, since I've been growing my dreadlocks, one of the things that I like to do is I just keep it earled up, and I will use what kind of like coconut oil, olive oil, black castor oil, and so that's basically like a lot of the type of oils that I use. Also, I prefer to use beeswax, the honey beeswax. When I started off my hair, I didn't really know I would use the black one, but I realized that the black beeswax will leave like residue and clunks in my head or whatever. So I find myself that the honey beeswax is the best beeswax that I prefer to use on my hair. So, okay, so we've been doing, I didn't get my hair retwist for 10 months because, as a lot of you know, we just had a new baby, and I didn't want her to be dealing with my hair for, twisting it. I wasn't trying to look cute. Okay, got a baby on the way, diapers to buy. Now, so what we're gonna do is now she's gonna show y'all exactly how she retwists my hair and how she braided it. And how she braid my hair is basically how I keep my hair 90% of the time, because it's too long for me to just deal with when it's unbraided. It gets in the way. It gets stuck in the car door. When I get out of the door, I forget, and all other type of things happen. So one of the things about my hair, and that's important to people with locks, is that the part is there. Okay, so to have your hair braided and to have your part seen, I think it looks very, neat. I prefer it. Okay, now as you see my hair looks rough. Okay, it looks very, very rough. But it's a part of the process of letting your hair grow naturally, somewhat of a free form, and you're not putting stress on your hair. A lot of time when people get their hair, a lot of time when people get their dreads retwist, they get it done so often, and then you're pulling on your hair and you're pulling on it and you're pulling on it, and then it causes bald spots, and then you start thinning hair, and then you just have complications with your dreadlocks over a certain amount of time. So
I'm gonna show you guys, the process. And as you guys can see, I use you guys call it a rat tail comb, I call it a fine comb, and I just do a row, and then I oil the row before I start twisting, and then I'll put in a little bit of leave-in conditioner. You can use a spray bottle with leave-in conditioner if you like. It's totally up to you. Use whatever products work best for your hair, like my husband said. In my last dreadlock video, you guys, well, some of you were complaining about this and that and whatever. Just use what works for you.
yeah,
He likes beeswax. He likes the way it feels.
honey beeswax.
He likes the way it looks when it's done. So, what works for him may not work for you, and what works for you, he will not like, pretty much.
And also, I think a lot of too, when you have dreadlocks over time, like I said, it's been almost 16 years. You might have a couple of them that's thinning, so it's important for you to combine them and not just let them break off. Combine one dread into two, or if you got to combine three into one. I have a couple of them, like in some parts of my hair where I have like three combined, and we keeping them now because they're very, very thin, and over time we combine them to one, and then it makes the dreadlock more healthier. You don't have to worry about cutting that dreadlock or detaching it or whatever.
All right, you guys. So once I have it twisted, by the way, when I twist them, you see the hair clip that's on his head right there on the top in the middle. That's what I use now to hold the hair in place when I twist them. And once I have the 3 dreads twisted to the way I like them to be, I kind of like it to have like a little curl at the end before I start braiding. And then I'll braid, and this will kind of keep it neat. And then I'll have him hold half of the braid, and then I'll braid all the way down because his dreads are over 50 inches long. You know, it's very long. We've cut it. I've cut it a couple of times over the last 16 years, you know, to make it even. We've taken off 4 inches every, you know, a couple of years we'll take off a couple of inches. So, you know, it could have been longer, but yeah, it's healthy. It's over 50 inches long. And when it's wet and stretched, it's longer. So.
And one thing I definitely like to say is that when you first starting off with dreads, okay, and you first starting to lock your dreads up, do not wash your hair every week, every other week. Okay, that's a no-no. You do not want to do that because you're stripping your hair of certain nutrients, okay, and you want your hair to kind of build up and get the new growth and stuff like that. And depending on where you live at and the climate and everything like that, that plays a factor of it too. Like in the wintertime, I have a lot of dried scalp. Okay, my scalp is always dry, and when you're living in cold climates, okay, you have to earl your hair up a little bit more. So one thing I would tell people who starting off dreadlocks is to not wash your hair. I will go a month or 2 months without washing my hair and just keeping it earled up, okay, and it really makes a big difference with your hair. And one thing I like to say too is be mindful of who you let twist your hair. Like if you're somebody who letting 10, 3, 5 different people braid your hair, I kind of think that it's important to people to twist your hair. I guess with good intentions,
yeah.
okay, and actually taking pride in it, because you might go get your hair done by somebody and they just twisting your hair so hard and they like ripping like little follicles that you can't really see out of your hair. Like dreadlocks have to be treated with love. So make sure that when you go and get your hair twisted, if you got somebody, stick with that person. If they twist your hair in a way that maybe you may not like it, just trying to give them some type of, direction and say, hey, I like it this way. Some people use instruments to twist your dreadlocks too. But one thing I would say, just trying somebody who, is treating your hair with respect and love. I know it's hair, but it makes a difference when you're dealing with people who are doing your hair,
with good intentions,
with good
basically.
intentions.
Like where I'm from, in South America, we're very picky with who touches our hair. It's like I don't want to say supernatural thing, I guess, but you don't let people with what we call bad hands touch your hair, So no one has touched his hair in forever.
So it's been forever since someone other than Queenie that actually touched my hair that I paid at a beauty salon, like in forever. So when we first started, my dreads and stuff like that, Queenie didn't even know anything about dreadlocks. She wasn't familiar with twisting it or whatever, and she just got on in there and just started twisting it. And then the more she done it, she got just better and better and better. And she has her own system on it. And now this is the system that she used before. A long time ago, she used to use like these little pins, little
Yeah.
bobby. I don't know
The
what they call
clamps. The
like the little
clamps.
clamps. And then we have a million clamps in my head, hurting my scalp. Okay, and then she just started twisting it. As you see, she started twisting it all the way to the end, like how she's doing it right here. And then the dreadlock will just stay in place much, much better.
And use a hair clip to hold it, instead of the clamps, because the clamps do get irritating. But if you like the clamps, hey, go ahead and use it. I've seen some videos where people use clamps on the dreads to hold them in place, especially if they're shorter dreads. The clamps do come in handy.
Yeah, I think too. I think when you have locks too, Once a year. Once a year is good to do. What was that? We had a HV.
ACV,
Right.
apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar, baking soda, and lemon juice. And then you put your hair in it, and like in a bucket or whatever, and you just let it soak, and it's gonna strip every single thing, dirt or whatever from out of your hair. Even if you
Yeah.
have long dreadlocks or short dreadlocks, I think that's important to do. Okay, will keep maintaining your locks to look healthy and to look strong. And also, I've have dyed the tip of my hair is blind. Okay, and that whenever you dyeing your dreadlocks and you putting these chemicals in it, make sure that you're washing it really good. You're using good conditioners. Okay, don't just get your hair dyed, the tips of your dreadlocks, because I see that it's very popular right now. Where even in the entertainment business, a lot of rappers and stuff is dyeing their entire hair blind, and you don't want to end up looking like Lil Wayne. Okay, so you want to make sure that when you're doing that, you're conditioning your hair, you're oiling your hair properly, and you're taking good pride in your hair, especially when you dye it, because your hair will break off if you're not, taking care of it, and you're not paying attention to it and using good product. And I would say don't be shabby on buying certain type of conditioners, shampoos that may be a little bit expensive, but if you look on the back of it, it has the good things that you want to have in your hair. So when it comes down to your hair, if it's a bottle or something that costs like maybe $15, I don't know, if it costs $15 and it's gonna keep your hair nice and moisturized, it's not no like VO5 or something like that, or one of the more inexpensive brands or whatever. Use it for your hair. Treat your hair right, and it'll treat you right.
Yeah, I feel like right now Lil Wayne has the worst dreads ever. That's just my opinion.
That's a
Okay.
fact.
It looks
But
like
if
a
you see,
three-piece fish
a
fry.
three-piece fish, no tartar sauce.
No tartar
But
sauce.
see, when Wayne first started, his hair looked really, really
It
good. Then he
was
started
really
dyeing
good. It
it
was
and ain't taking
beautiful.
care of it. And then you letting your hair fry. And then a lot of things too, like when you live in certain areas like, California and down south where the humidity is crazy, you have to make sure that you keep your hair oiled up
And
also
moisturized.
even
Yeah.
more, moisturizing conditioner, because all it do is just damages your hair.
So yeah, you guys, I'm halfway through, and as you guys can see, I make my rows. I like to
I
make my
realize you're
rows.
making a row, right? You're
I,
not just like
yeah, I make my
okay,
rows. I go
yeah.
row by row by row. So when I make my rows, I'll take the mixture of the leave-in conditioner with water, and rub it through the hair and oil and all of that good stuff. And then I'll put a bit of the beeswax on there, just to kind of get the hair separated from the top part. And then I'll go in with my comb and make my parts.
Now,
So
when you have your hair, like we washed my hair, right,
yeah.
and then it was dry the next day. So, would you prefer to keep the hair wet when you do it or dry? Does it make a difference?
I feel like doing wet dreads are easier
Why? Why is that? You don't
because
think
it's
it's more
wet.
tangled?
No, it's easier for me. Well, with your
Hmm.
hair texture, I've never done anybody else's hair, so I
Yeah.
don't know. So for him, his hair being wet is much easier for me to do, but dry is fine too. But I don't know what it would be like for anybody else. I've never done anybody else's hair. Okay. The oil I'm using, it has a mixture of black castor oil in it, olive oil, sweet almond oil in there.
Oh.
So if you're wondering, what kind of oil it is, that's what I'm using.
Is
Okay.
there a wrong oil to use when it comes down to your hair? Like, is there like one that okay, like they got coconut, they got olive oil, they got different ones. Does it matter, or like is it?
Different oils do different things. Like some of them can penetrate the hair shaft better. Some are lighter on the hair. Some are heavier on the hair. So it really just depends on your hair texture, and how dry it is. Even the curl texture comes into play. So, oils depend mostly on you as a person and your hair texture.
I will make a recommendation too. I would say that okay, over time, when you have dreads that's this long and then it gets heavy, your hairline gonna go back a little bit. Okay, but one thing I would say is to make sure that you take in certain type of herbs or whatever concoctions y'all using to put in your hair, and focus on like the lining, the top lining in the corners of your hairline, and rub those herbs in there and rub those chemicals in there to help the front part. Because I don't really get my hair lined up. I used to. I used to be a barber, and I used to keep my hair lined up all the time and keep it fresh and all that. Then after a while, I just didn't really care for it anymore.
He just let the what you call the lineup area
just grow I guess out. Natural or whatever.
We let it grow out, and then I just started feeding it into the dreads that he had.
Yeah.
So and I mean, you don't have the parts is totally up to you. I try to get the parts as neat as I can get them.
Yeah.
Over time they do kind of change shape just a tiny bit. If you want them perfectly boxed, you may have to do a little bit of work to get them perfectly boxed. But I try to get them as neat as I can, and eventually over 16 years some dreads will get thin. Eventually, especially if you're coloring your hair or whatever, things will get thin. So if you have two thin ones that are like super thin,
just combine them.
Instead of putting pressure on them, or is that the word, pressure?
And it breaks off and stuff.
Just combine them and let them become one.
And a lot of times it's not going to even look that noticeable. Like you're not going to even really notice that much. Like you know that you're protecting your dreadlocks. Some people combine them over a course of years, and just like they may have, let's just say 100 dreadlocks, and then they turn them to like 50 dreadlocks.
So you know what? We never counted. I don't think I ever counted how many dreads you have. If one of you guys is paying attention, count how many parts he has.
Oh no, we don't got time for that.
All right, so this is the final look. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something. We did the voiceover together to make it a bit different, and since we haven't posted any videos together, hopefully this kind of makes up for that just a little bit. Things are a bit hectic now. Well, not hectic, but just a little bit different now with a new baby. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. When I'm done with his hair like this, he usually just puts it in one, what do you call it, a ponytail?
Yeah, I guess so.
A ponytail. He'll use either a hair tie. Don't use rubber bands.
Usually I do my dreadlocks. I'll take the dreadlocks from the bottom and just twist it.
Okay, so he'll take two dreadlocks and, I guess combine them together to kind of tie it. I do use rubber bands at the end of the dreadlock when I braid them, but don't use them like in the middle part of your dreadlock. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay?
And to all of my people with dreadlocks, keep your dreadlocks together, keep them strong, and it's like a unity when we see other people with locks. It's something that only we really know, like what's up, what's going on. You know what I mean? So y'all keep your dreadlocks up and love your hair, be beautiful. However your hair grow, just embrace it and love it. All right.
All right, you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, share the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Give the video a thumbs up.
Peace.
Bye, guys.